So, i-group po kayo into 4. Ayan. Once you received a notice inviting you to join the breakout rooms, join kayo. Then remember, pag na-disconnect kayo, doon na kayo mag-join. Nasa baba ng pag ano sa baba makikita niyo ng breakout rooms, join breakout rooms, then punta kayo. So yung group 1 natin, Anthony, Gerald, anyway, ididiretso naman kayo, okay? So for 10 minutes, this time let's sa group 3 naman. Sige. Group 3.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Group 3 natin, Jeline, tama ba? Miss Jeline, Kimberly, Emeline, Roslyn, and Anave, tama?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige.
I will start presenting, sir, pero we weren't able to provide yung sinasabi mo po, sir, na I will present na lang po yung nag-gather namin na information. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. So, we have here the ICT tools. The ICT tools, the lessons, and how it is used. So, yung pinaka-available dati during our senior and junior high school days is laptop, projector, and the most recent one is the smart TV. So the lessons that we have is the solar system, plant, cell, and animal cells, the Big Bang theory, and the ICT tools using this to present this lessons are using video presentations, slide shares, and PowerPoint presentations. In order for us to have a vivid description about the Big Bang theory, the solar system, animal and plant cells, so they use video presentations. So usually they use video presentation. Because during those times, those were the most available.
All right, thank you, Group 3. Next natin, Group 2.
Good morning, sir. So we're the
Good
group
morning.
2.
Opo.
So first, ma-start po anay kita sa topic or the 5 lessons. So we have reproductive system, chemical equation, electron configuration, animal cells and plant cells, also the skeletal system. So the ICT tools are the equipments that our teachers use during our senior high and junior high school, our laptop, speaker, and television or TV. Then the ICT application is the PowerPoint presentation or video clips. Then nag-include man po kami, sir, sa traditional tools. Siyempre, sir, during our junior high, dili man po, sir, fully talagang teacher naman sa ICT. We have traditional tools also, the visual aids, chalkboards, or charts. So in the reproductive system, our teachers use laptop or speaker and TV for the video clips and PowerPoint presentation. In the chemical equation, in electron configuration, nagigawan po sa laptop, PowerPoint presentation, but nagkaigaman po kami, sir, through board work, sir. Siyempre po, sir, sa solving ni talaga sa board work. Then sa animal cells and plant cells, ginpakita po kami sito sa na time sa video clips and PowerPoint presentation. Then amo man sa skeletal system, tag sa reproductive system, pero nag-include po dito ang visual aids, chalkboards kay gina-drawing, tag sa charts po, sir. Amala po, sir.
Okay, thank you, Group 2. Proceed tayo sa Group. Sabay-sabay na lang natin mamaya kasi halos pare-pareho lang naman. Group 4.
Good morning, sir. So, good morning, everyone. So, as we shared our ideas, we come up with shared ideas, which is the ICT tools and the lessons and how it is used. So, the format is the ICT tools and then the topic. So one of our instructor used to utilize slides, videos, and illustrations through Canva. So also we are able to explore it by ourselves. Like the task given to us in Canva is to complete animal cell, and we do it firsthand, which help us to remember it more vividly. And then one of our group mates answered PPT and projector that is being used and discussing about cell and reproduction during their junior high school and senior high school years. And then the use of YouTube was also mentioned, which is it helps to further illustrate and for clear explanation of the specific topic. The video tutorial in YouTube was also often used. This enables the students or us rather to bacteria. Also, we are utilizing Zoom or Google Classroom to meet and to deliver the lessons, such as cell division delivered using the PowerPoint presentation, whereas it has videos in it, pictures, words, and graphics. Actually, there are a lot of discussion that is being done through PowerPoint presentation and delivered using Meet or Zoom that is being shared in our groups. The topics because the presentation could possibly could include the holistic tools in order to properly explain the specific topic. It includes the ideas and the information that us students need to learn and acquire. So that is our shared idea, sir.
Thank you so much, Group 4. Last group natin, Group 1.
Group 2 po kami.
Apo, sige.
30%. So this is the the next one is Khan Academy. I hope we are all familiar with the application. I've usually
Yung pinaka-common, base dun sa presentation nyo, I mean from groups 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, and 4, yung common na i-present nyo are actually the lessons about cell biology, sa pagdating sa cytology, cell biology. Then you made mention, common na ginagamit natin, slide shares, PowerPoint presentation, and yeah, the other technologies, yung tangible one like the desktop, speakers, and digital tools or ICT tools, softwares na ginagamit natin. Applications, you've made mention Prezi, may na-mention kayo, SlideShare, Canva, and videos, YouTube video tutorials. Then meron din ako nakita dito sa presentation ng Group 2, sa group ni Miss Rutor, yung Khan Academy. Actually, there are other sites na talaga makukuha na natin ng mga supplemental discussions which can we further or can we actually integrate with specific lesson. So I guess I am hoping, hopeful ako na as you create or make your learning plan, you can go over, look for more, tingnan nyo pa ang other applicable tools, ICT tools na pwede natin gamitin efficiently and can be actually accessed by our students pag ginamit na natin siya. Kasi marami class din pagdating sa sa earth science, 'di ba? Merong specific. We know very well that the component of science in every grade level are divided into 4 components. So sa first quarter, there are subjects, there are grade level na ang kanilang is that living things in their environment. So biology yung first quarter. Pag second quarter nila, matter, nagki-chemistry na. Pag third grading period, nag-earth science sila. Then pag fourth grading period, nag-physics. Kung tingnan natin, may nag-mention sa inyo about chemical equation doon sa group ni Mary Grace. Sa chemical equation and electron configuration, at least you were able to remember or to recall concept, lalo na doon sa dissociation, doon sa processes, decomposition, and sa chemical reactions, pinaka-importante doon ang integration of ICT tools, especially on chemical equation at lalo na sa electron configuration, the transfer of electrons, when can we say that there is really the positive and negative charge, paano nangyayari yon. Then walang may nag-mention about sa physics, walang may natandaan sa physics. Kaya dapat ngayon pa lang, isipin na natin kasi baka mamaya mapunta kayo sa certain grading period na ang nakatukas sa inyo ay physics. So remember that you have to master, siguro kailangan meron din tayong tinatawag na content knowledge. Hindi lang tayo sa pedagogy and technology. Doon sa previous discussion natin, doon sa TPAC, kinakailangan hindi lang tayo technologically and pedagogically adept or ang knowledge natin hindi lang doon. Kinakailangan din i-adopt natin na kaya rin natin ang content ng isang lesson. It is because magiging more effective tayo if we were able to integrate ICT tools, and we are actually good when it comes to the content of the lesson. Mas maganda siya, maging more effective ang flow ng ating discussion. Nakuha po?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
sige.
sir.
Let's continue our discussion. We are now on integrating technology in instruction. So there are various educators and researchers provided their concepts and principles about how are we going to integrate technology in instruction. So we will be revisiting those educators and researchers na kung paano daw talaga dapat natin i-integrate ang technology when it comes to instruction or the teaching and learning process. Let's have first John Pisapia in 1994. So according to him, the use of learning technologies to reintroduce, reinforce, supplement, and extend skills. So we are utilizing the technology by means of introduction or a manner of reinforcement, supplement, and extend skills. So does not necessarily mean na lalo na pag face-to-face tayo, that during the discussion, we present more or less, more concepts to our students. It would be best if meron tinatawag tayo, because we are actually class following this time, the 7 E's format. And according to John, computer science courses and assisted instruction and or computer enhanced or enriched instruction, these are actually the technology which are integrated in our curricula. Ano? So it can be in different things. That's the reason why pwede computer-assisted instruction, pwedeng yung parang the students are learning on their own, self-paced learning na you present them the learning objectives, then you give them the link perhaps or the application, you allow them to install a certain application sa kanilang mobile phone, then they navigate, you have the procedures, you presented the steps, you scaffold them, you provide them the channel that in order for them to accomplish certain tasks. Ano? Para dire-diretso siya. So yun ang binibini John Pisapia na either it's a CAI, computer-assisted instruction, and matching software with basic skill competencies, keyboarding with word processing followed up with presentation skills. And according to International Society for Technology and Education, or ISTE, an effective integration of technology is achieved when students are able to select technology tools to help them obtain information in a timely manner, analyze and synthesize information, and present it professionally. This is the reason why, class, I keep on rating this one, that in selecting technology or in selecting ICT tools that is to be integrated in the lesson, it would be best if you have to go deeper or try to evaluate, look into the family background of your students, their capability. Are they capable enough to accommodate those technologies that you are going to use? Kaya ba nila? Baka mamaya nag-present ka ng napakagandang technology or ICT tools na gagamitin mo sa klase, hindi naman kaya ng mga estudyante. And remember, class, that if we are presenting new ICT tools for instruction to our students, it would be best that you at least present them the grasp, siguro, the feature, i-present nyo muna kung paano gagamitin ang technology na yun. Hindi yung, you oblige your students to actually do this na, yung pinaka-content na talaga ng lesson natin. Kasi hindi lahat ng estudyante natin in the basic education are actually into na sa technology, ICT tools. Lalo na if there are, for example, there are animations, kunyari, sa site, ay gusto ko tong animations na to, simulations na to, gusto ko tong ipa-visit sa mga estudyante ko. However, the site na na-identified is that maano siya, parang sponsored siya, ang daming advertisement, baka mamaya kung ano-ano na yung na-click ng estudyante mo, without giving them or orienting them on those areas na dapat doon lang sila mag-focus. That has something to do with the lesson that you discussed or you are going to discuss for the day. According to ICT pa rin, this technology should become an integral part of how the classroom functions, as accessible as all other classroom tools. So let's have Margaret LLOYD, 2005. According to her, ICT integration encompasses an integral part of broader curriculum reforms, which include both infrastructural as well as pedagogical considerations that are changing not only how learning occurred but what is learned. Isa din sa pinaka-importante, this is actually the painful on our part as a science teacher kasi ang nangyayari, we have actually the materials given to us, but then pagdating sa isang area kung saan kaya natin ilalagay, for example na lang, you have the laboratory apparatus, different technologies given by the Department of Education. However, in the sense of utilizing, kasi sabi nga, the technology should not replace the teacher. Remember that it should not only, kasi ang lesson natin every day or this month is that actually dapat hindi na yon ang manner kung paano natin siya tinuturo sa bata for the next coming school year. Kasi remember na hindi lang ba ang pedagogical manner or pedagogical approaches is dapat nagbabago rin siya on the nature of our students. And remember that based on research, it is actually through ICT integration that nai-enrich niya talaga ang curriculum natin, especially when it comes to content of our curriculum. Pagdating sa pinaka-content niya, mas napapalawig niya kung paano ng mga estudyante natin maiintindihan ang lesson natin. Lalo na ngayon, majority sa mga estudyante natin siguro pagdating nyo, mas magaling pa sa atin pagdating sa pag-navigate ng different sites. Matulin pa sa aton mag-click kung nano ang indahanapon. Okay po, that's the reason why kailangan, sabi nga, at least siguro 1, 2, or 3 to 4 pages ahead tayo sa estudyante natin. Let's have Kiyon Wang and Wailit Puo on 2007. That according to them, integrating ICT into teaching and learning is a growing area that has attracted many educators' efforts in recent years. And ICT integration can happen in 3 different areas. Ayan. So there are areas na actually na natatarget niya, nahihit niya. Our curriculum, the topic, and the lesson. Pagdating kasi sa life science, alam natin ng mga estudyante natin, when we discuss the organelles, when we are on cell biology, nasa cytology part tayo, the students will frown. Mahihirapan sila talagang kaya masasabi nila it's actually a boring subject. Lalo na if we allow them to master the different organelles, the function of these organelles, ang sobrang dami. But with the integration or with the use of computer-aided instruction, naghanap ako ng mga simulations, games, yung available siya sa net. I crafted na lang worksheet or activity na binigay ko na lang sa kanila, then presented to them introduction on how to navigate the site, how to do the simulations. Then they are actually enjoying the activity. Mas nai-enjoy nila at natatandaan nila, lalong-lalo na if yung site na yon are being evaluated as to its siguro accessibility, seamless ba siya, madali ba siyang i-navigate ng estudyante, mas mag-i-enjoy sila, at lalo na if we presented to them the worksheet or the activity sheet in a systematic manner. Alam nila kung ano yung susunod na step. Okay, nakalagay dito. At makikita mo na mauobliga sila at merong eagerness to learn, to view the site, to visit the simulation. Nakikita nila kung paano talaga nangyayari ang protein synthesis, paano si T cells nag-counteract in that of the beta cells. Kasi magaganda yon kasi mahihirapan sila when it comes to cell biology. Ano ang itsura ng tinatawag natin ng mga double membrane organelles. Kasi pag present lang natin sa kanila just purely the picture, the name of the organelle and the definition, the function of that organelle, with respect to the other parts of or other organelles. Bakit tinatawag natin silang multicellular? Bakit anong meron sa kanila? Bakit multicellularity? Bakit kinukompare pa natin sila na isang city? What are the things that they functions? So, isa yon sa mga pwede nating titingnan, lalo na pag tiningnan natin yung curriculum guide, if you happen to view the curriculum, the curriculum guide and the specific competencies doon sa grades level 2 10. And according to Bernard Bahate on 2010, this ICT or the process of integrating ICT in teaching and learning has to be done at both pedagogical and technological levels with much emphasis put on pedagogy. Ito yon kasi inuulit-ulit natin na kinakailangan hindi tayo masasapawan ng technology. Meron nga tayong available na technology. You are excited to use that for your discussion. Ang problema pagdating sa klase, naantala ang oras kasi hindi mo gaano master ang kung aling part na kaya. Lalo na you have to be flexible enough that if you have the technology at merong circumstance na naghinder doon sa paggamit na yon, kinakailangan meron ka agad reserba. Kaya anong sabi, it should have an emphasis on pedagogy. Alam mo pa rin kung paano mo i-deliver yung lesson mo for the day. Na to the point na we should not rely siguro 100% na lang ng deliver natin made possible with the technology. Kaya uulitin ko doon sa TPAC model natin, the technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. Kailangan mabigat pa rin doon si pedagogy. Kasi kinakailangan magaling tayo kung paano natin ipipresent. Sige. Next is that ICT integration into teaching and learning has to be underpinned by sound pedagogical principles. Ang dami nating sinusunod ng mga pedagogical principles. Sobrang dami. During your facilitating learning, di ba? Ang dami. You have actually 14 principles na present sa inyo. And along with that, in your assessment, in your teaching profession, different approaches, present sa inyo ang mga active learning, project-based learning, inquiry-based learning, project-based and problem-based, sobrang dami. So kailangan doon rin dating titingnan if you can actually adopt those approaches or those principles into your teaching. Remember that bawat approaches or principles na naintindihan natin or na-accommodate natin ay nagkakaroon lang siya or meron lang siyang specific lesson perhaps na naging effective siya. Okay? Come to imagine, your topic is science investigatory project. Nasa science as a process ka. Scientific method. Okay? So, it would be best pag gagamit tayo ng project-based learning. We want our students to at least produce one output or one quick laboratory output or experiment. So, there are things naman na pwede natin magamit on a specific lesson. Proceed tayo. According to UNESCO in 2005, ICT integration is not merely mastering the hardware and software skills. Ayan. Teachers need to realize how to organize the classroom to structuring learning tasks. Not only, ngayon ina-accommodate natin because this principle actually that is the result of research is during the conventional mode of teaching, yung face-to-face classes. Ngayon naman, if we're going to put that in this flexible learning mode, nagsisynchronous tayo, pag meron na tayo, pag mag-prepare tayo ng lesson, it would be best na at nagkaroon muna tayo ng trial. Prior to your discussion, tinest mo na, paano ko kaya gagamitin ang Zoom, alin dito, baka mamaya maging vigilant, baka mamaya salita ka ng salita, nakamute ka pala, ano ba yung gagamitin, magma-microphone ka ba, or then especially pag require tayo, dapat gumagana ba ang camera nyo? Kasi dapat those are the things. Yun na kasi ang kalakaran pagdating sa online teaching. Kasi kinakailangan i-accommodate na natin yun. Baka hindi habang panahon na magko-conventional na lang, always na lang face-to-face. Baka mamaya, ang iba sa inyo nasa Philippine Science High School and you are required to conduct online classes. Then, according to UNESCO, ICT resources become automatic and natural response to the environments in the same way as teachers use markers and whiteboards in the classroom. So, this is also available. Kaya ngayon, I just don't know if chalkboard pa rin kayo before or whiteboards na ang ginagamit natin. So other schools in DepEd and basic education, ang ginagamit na nila ay whiteboards na ang ginagamit nila. And according to ICT is that there is a need to have a good grasp of what information and communication is all about. We have to go deeper into the content kung ano lang yung dapat na ma-present natin sa mga estudyante natin with the use of the technology. Ano? And you have to determine the ICT that are available. Ano? Ano ba yung pinaka-available lang either sa iyo as teacher, then ano lang yung pupwede sa ating mga estudyante. Then titingnan din natin yan dito sa ating discussion. This time, let's go into the different definitions. Ano, result pa rin ng research from these educators. Kung ano ba talaga ang definition nila pagdating sa ICT. Ano? So first, we have Morrison on 2005 that ICT includes all the full range of computer hardware, computer software, and telecommunication facilities. So lahat na. It includes digital cameras, yan, computer games, CDs, DVDs, cellular phones, and other fiber optics. And according to Tini on 2009, ICT is a diverse set of technological tools and resources used to communicate, create, disseminate, store, and manage information. And these technologies include hardware devices, software applications, yung mga ginagamit na natin, Microsoft MS Office, internet connectivity na ito ang sobrang hirap, ano, hindi natin makontrol. Kahit ako nga nagde-disconnect na. Yan, internet connectivity, broadcasting technologies, and telephony. And according to UNESCO to 2020, ICT is a device, a set of technological tools and resources used to transmit, store, create, share, or exchange information. So, syempre, it includes the computers, internet, yung mga website, ginagamit na natin. Sobrang gamit natin ito ngayon sa atin. Blogs, as in blogs yung nababasa, hindi, pwede din vlogs yung napapanood natin. Live broadcasting technologies like radio, yan. Meron tayo nito, doon sa, I just don't know if there are students dito, meron tayong estudyante dito na malapit lang sa Kabitan na nare-reach ng ating 93.1 yung ating radio station, So, yung mga live broadcasting technologies, lalo na meron tayong tawag dito, nagbalik ang School on Air program that the faculty members are required to render service, to render or mag-broadcast ng lesson. So that is one thing, na minimin natin. Then you have also recorded broadcasting technologies like podcasting, audio and video players, and storage devices. So ginagamit natin ito. Yung fixed or mobile satellite video conferencing, this one that we are using right now, the Zoom meeting application, the Google Meet, yung iba gumagamit ng MS Teams and other teleconferencing devices or tools, Then according to Ratiswari in 2005, ICT play salient roles in workplaces, businesses, in education and entertainment. It is a catalyst for change in working conditions, handling and exchanging information, teaching methods, na gamit natin, lalo na sa teacher. Kasi ang hirap, nabasta lang tayo, lalo na sa ating part, Nabasta lang tayo nagbigay ng topic sa ating estudyante, then after that, tapos na. This is the thing that we have to reflect, Imagine nyo, class, once na nasa service na kayo sa basic education, even the practice up to this time, di ba masakit sa ating part as teacher? Imagine, you just prepare, you print the lesson or the modules, then you give that to the parents, and after that, ano na kaya ang nangyari sa estudyante nyo? What type of students now after a year or two siguro, ano na kaya if the practices would be the same in the next school year? Ang question na dapat ang question nyo dapat is that, naiintindihan din kaya ng estudyante ko kahit isang line man lang na nandoon sa inyong learning modules? Kaya, these things ang kailangan natin i-ponder. Ano na kaya? Okay? So, ICT daw, these are important, there is a role in scientific research, and especially in accessing information and communication tools. Next is that using ICT, integration frameworks and science education learning plans. Ito na ngayon. Since one of the major output in this subject is that the creation or the formulation of your own learning plans in the different levels wherein pipili tayo or mag-a-assign pa tayo ha. This time, we're going to revisit those frameworks that is actually appropriate and relevant in science education in crafting your learning plans. So, titingnan natin what are those frameworks na applicable sa inyo na pwede nyo siya actually class i-adopt. Though meron tayong format, but this is actually some of the framework na applicable sa science education. So these are very helpful to clarify lingering issues on how technologies are properly integrated in the teaching learning process. So let's have this first. Yung una natin, the framework, the conversational framework of LLOYD on 2002. According to this framework, the teaching and learning process is a very complex task to allow learners to understand their lessons and master the skills that they are expected to demonstrate. Totoo yun, di ba? And nag-present siya ng 5 key teaching and learning events in this framework, yung tinatawag niya na conversational framework. So meron yung 5. So according to this framework, meron siyang acquisition, discovery, dialogue, practice, and creation. Isa-isahin natin siya. Paano siya pinipresent? So this is the scenario or this is the framework now. It is actually divided into teaching and learning event. What are those events? These are the events being identified by this conversational framework as we have made mention, acquisition, discovery, dialogue, practice, and creation. Parang ano siya, dun sa learning events ni Gagne, that is actually one framework pa din na pina-follow. So, itong kay LLOYD, meron din siyang teaching action and strategy. What are those possible learning objectives or intended learning outcomes that you wanted the students to achieve or to accomplish at the end of the lesson? What are those learning action or experiences na i-integrate natin sa lesson? And the related media form. Ano yung mga media form na gagamitin natin and examples of non-computer-based activity. And we have also examples of computer-based activity. For the first event is that acquisition. Ano yung mga possible actions natin or strategy? We have show, demonstrate, describe, and explain. And other similar or synonymous to that strategy. So like attending, apprehending, and listening. In what? In a form of narrative, linear forms of media, presentational. Ayan, magpe-present lang tayo sa estudyante ng isang lesson. So perhaps this would include television, yung sinasabi nyo kanina, na mention ng isang group, yung pinaka-recent daw sa kanilang school, Smart TV. Mas maganda yon na meron na tayong mga Smart TV. So saksak na lang, naka-prepare ka na ahead of time, beforehand, siguro kagabi, nag-prepare ka na ng lesson mo, so connect na lang sa Smart TV, then play. Okay? Video film, yan, lectures, books, and other print publications. Isa din sa maganda class na na-utilize natin, especially pag scenario-based. Pagdating natin sa central dogma of life, pagtingin natin doon sa crime-based, parang sa crime scene, pwede natin gumamit tayo ng mga newspaper. Imimimik lang natin siya. Kunyari, bibigyan lang natin ng twist. Kunyari, nadakip sa isang crime scene ng CIDG, like CIDG Masbate, ilagay lang natin sa scenario na there are actually linears of nitrogenous bases identified, then allow the students to actually do the complementary base pairing. So parang nafe-feel nila yung scenario na parang member siya ng CIDG, na parang ano siya, ina-identify niya talaga yung arrangement ng DNA, yung nitrogenous bases, yung complementary base pairing. At para ma-identify kung sino ang salarin, sino ang suspect doon sa krimen. So other examples of computer-based activity like lecture notes online, streaming videos. Ito kasi ngayon ang dami, nasa infowhelm kasi tayo ngayon according to trends, di ba? Information overload, overwhelm tayo kasi sobrang dami. DVD, multimedia, including digital videos, yung mention nyo kanina, tutorial videos sa YouTube, audio clips, and animations. And next to that event is that discovery. Either to create or to set up, like mag-create sila ng isang medium siguro, one setup of looking into the dependent and independent variable on the amount of sunlight that a mung beans or a mongo beans exposed to a certain amount of light, direct sunlight siya, nasa shed siya, nasa madilim siya, then you're going to go into the growth of the plant as to the color of the leaves, the length of the stem. So those are some of the actions or strategy that we might adopt. Then the learning actions or experience, either they're going to investigate. Titingnan nila. Pag kinumpare nila yung variables na ang three setup or three mung beans or three mongo beans or plant nila ay na-expose yung isa sa direct sunlight, yung isa is nasa katamtaman lang, yung isa is nasa madilim, then allow your students to investigate those conditions. So ano yung mga related media form natin? You have interactive, searchable, filterable kasi they're going to search and to prove either their claims are actually correct. Ano? So magse-search talaga sila. So that is one of the few being mentioned on related media form. And what are those examples for non-computer based activity? So that includes libraries, galleries, museums. So yung pwede tayo magbigay sa kanila, yung mga previously published article. And if we're going to use computer-based technology or activity, mga CD, meron tayong prepared CD, web sources, hypertext, and other enhanced hypermedia, and other information gateways. Pagdating sa dialogue, ayan, set up, frame, moderate, facilitate discussion. Like, your topic is on astronomy, nasa earth science kayo, observing the sky or the earth. So po pwede tayo magpa-debate sa estudyante natin. Flat earth and round earth. No? Po pwede yon sa dialogue. And you facilitate the discussion. So or po pwede mag-assign tayo ng isang recorder, isang facilitator, and that will actually allow our students to collaborate and to present, mag-converse pa sila kung paano sila mag-deliver in front of the classmates. And yeah, that includes their experiences, discussion or discussing, collaborating, reflecting, arguing, analyzing, and sharing. So ayan, what are those things? Like mag-set up tayo ng school, lalo na pag science fair, simple seminar, or parang tutorial, conferences. And pagdating natin sa practice, either your actions or your strategy, is that in a form of model, you're allowing your students to craft or to make a model, O they are going to experiment, titingnan nila with the use of either prepared slide or magpi-prepare silang ng mounted slide. Papakuha tayo ng water samples taken from sa mga lakes, sa mga dam, stagnant water. Titingnan natin if there are presence of amoeba, mga dinoflagellates, kung talagang makikita nila ito. And allow them to make models from these experiments. Titingnan nila kung ano ba talaga, filamentous kaya siya, yung plant-like protist na nakita nila, yung animal-like protist kaya is, ano kaya siya? Monotrichous, polytrichous ba siya? Iisa lang ba ang kanyang flagellum? You can have laboratory, field trip, or simulation. Role play po pwede din. So drill and practice tutorial programs. Then pagdating natin sa last event of this conversational framework, you have creation. Facilitating na ang nangyayari dito. So experimenting, synthesizing, you present sets. Halimbawa, 3 investigation on a certain phenomenon. Like on the discovery, present mo ang discovery or the concepts that proves that there is really an evolution by means of natural selection. So i-present mo yung discovery ni Gregor Mendel on the anatomy and physiology, I-present mo yung discovery ni Russell Wallace, i-present mo yon. Na talaga makaka-connect doon sa idea na there is really an evolution by means of natural selection. Pwedeng ma-analyze ng estudyante by just presenting to them the evidences, So, i-facilitate lang natin yun. And to the point that they're going to summarize those evidences into one output. Okay? So, ayan. Simple existing tools as well as specially created yan. Pwede din. Mga programmable software. Marami na ngayon tayo dito pag nag-visit kayo sa Sa Play Store, ang dami na mga application software, lalo na sa chemistry, that according to research that with the integration of technology or ICT tools actually enhanced our curriculum, the content curriculum. So proceed tayo. Next framework, the 3 fundamental elements of ICT integration by Wang on 2008. So this framework posited that integration of ICT consists of 3 fundamental elements. Sinabi niya rin na ang paggamit natin ng ICT is that meron siyang 3 elements, yung pedagogy, social interaction, and technology. So accordingly, that social pedagogy, I mean, is that this include that aside from the content and strategy, pedagogy deals with how teachers utilize different resources, that could help us, you teachers, syempre tayo, in facilitating our learning process. Kinakailangan we have the interaction with the content. Yun ang pinaka-importante according to this framework, no? This is crucial in science teaching because of the nature of the courses, considering that may mga courses tayo, kaya kung mapapansin nyo doon sa ating learning modules, may mga part tayo sa lesson that our students are actually required to compute. Diba? Sa chemistry natin, we are allowing our students to look into the percent composition of the substances. Iko-compute nila ilang porsyento kaya ang meron ang water. Ilang percent merong hydrogen, merong oxygen. Pagdating sa hydrochloric acid, ilang porsyento merong hydrogen yung compound na to. So ito yung pinaka-complex sa atin. Na kinakailangan there is a good interaction with the content. As teacher, you need to have a good interaction with the content or with the lesson. Then, another thing is that the interaction with people or the social interaction according to this framework. So, social interaction, these are the activities which are considered crucial because it allows our students to be able to develop the necessary knowledge and skills for them to live and work in various communities. Ito ang tinitingnan natin always, that we are teaching or we are presenting these concepts to our students because we really wanted them to replicate this knowledge into practice on where they belong. The next part of this or the next element of this framework is that the technology. So to engage the learners fully and meaningfully in the teaching learning process, this social design based, there is this ICT based learning environment that requires the integration of this technology. Okay. The next framework is that on categories for ICT in teacher training. So this is from, or according to Haddad in 2003, it states that the teacher's use of ICT supports the development of the higher order thinking skills and promotes collaboration. Yeah, that is correct. That is one thing. As what I made mention a while ago, we try our students to investigate certain scenario. You give them pieces of evidences. I mean, present nyo sa kanila. Then the required output is that they are going to analyze evidences given. Then you allow them to synthesize those, forming up one output to the point na nakagawa sila ng isang output. And that is one, promoting their criticality, analyzing skill. Tinitingnan nila kung paano nila, how they are going to chunk informations. Then out of those chunk information, broken into component parts, paghiwa-hiwalay nila yun, they are going to look into, isa-synthesize naman nila. And Jang on 2005, sabi niya, it is an organized various ICT teacher training efforts into 4 categories. So merong categorical framework or category C, Jang. Ito yung the use of yung core technology and complementary technology, divided into 2. Core technology as ICT as facilitating or networking technology, and ICT as core delivery technology. While complementary technology, according to Zhang, is that ICT as just a part of content or methods, and ICT as facilitating or a networking technology. Okay? That is Zhang's ICT-Pedagogy integration. Proceed tayo dito sa UNESCO ICT Competency Framework. Ito yung talagang pinupush this time class, the competency framework that if possible, science teachers should at least, or hindi lang siguro, we are actually obliged to integrate in our learning plans the ICT competency framework. Ang dami ng competency, lalo na sa digital citizenship, EduCompendo, yung educational competency framework, adopted from Singapore, yung Singaporean framework, ginagamit natin yon. And remember, class, kasi matatakal natin yung sa National Educators Association of the Philippines, yung PPST, the Philippines Professional Standards for Teachers, we need to go over into that. We have to master the 7 domains and the 31, I guess, the 31 tracks in each domain. So ano yung tinatawag natin na UNESCO ICT Competency Framework for Teachers? So having a society that is increasing based on information and knowledge and with the ubiquity of ICT for instruction, UNESCO were able to have this one. Kasi pag nag-surf nga naman tayo sa net class, nag-type ka lang even just kahit one word lang sa net, sobrang dami ng lalabas. But with the advent or with the framework developed by UNESCO, the ICT Competency Framework, nagkaroon tayo ng isang basihan, in terms of globalization na pwede nating i-adopt sa lesson or sa learning plans natin. So the framework aims to promote educational reform and sustainable economic development anchored on the principles of and objectives of the Millennium Developmental Goals or the Sustainable Developmental Goals, yung SDGs natin. Yung education for all, the UN literacy decade, and the decade of education for sustainable development. Ito yon, sinasabi ni Sir. The ICT Competency Framework for Teachers. Ito yon. You have understanding ICT and education, curriculum and assessment, pedagogy, application and digital skills. Kasi ito yung pinaka-importante din, that we have to be digitally literate. Kailangan we are into different digital literacy trainings, organization and administration, medyo na sa atin yon, and teacher professional training. So those are the things. So ano yon? Digital acquisition, digital deepening, and digital creation. For example, sa understanding ICT and education, kinakailangan we have this policy understanding, policy application, and policy innovation. For example, nakalagay sa ating PPST, sa ating Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, nakalagay doon that the integration of ICT frameworks in the Philippine educational system. Do we have this knowledge acquisition or understanding of the policy? Alam ba natin paano natin i-integrate ang ICT now sa ating klase or sa ating lesson? What about the knowledge deepening? Do we have this application of the policy? Kasi this is actually a policy, an order of the Department of Education that we have to adapt ICT in teaching and learning process. Are we capable enough for into application of this policy? Kakaya ba natin siya to put into practice? And at the same time, if we are in a far-flung areas, we are in, siguro sabihin na natin less fortunate, yung tinatawag natin na at the grassroots of the Philippine educational system, yung grassroots talaga, lalo na yung sa mga malalayo. In terms of your understanding in ICT education, do you have the capacity to innovate this policy? Kaya mo ba siyang i-contextualize kung saan ka naroroon? Kaya yon? That you have this, you are going to perform, you're going to test. One activity is that you are going to test the hardness of water. You want your students to actually be informed and identify types of water kung alin yung mas hard sa kanila, hardness of water. So you have different types of water. Meron kang rainwater, meron kang seawater, potable water. You are tasked to innovate things. Kailangan i-contextualize natin yun. Ano yung mga possible natin na pupwede na at stake hindi mawawala yung nature of the content ng lesson na gusto mong i-deliver. In terms of the curriculum and assessment, do you have the basic knowledge on how you are going to assess your students, that these assessments can be considered your summative assessment and your formative assessment? Nakagawa ka, you have 10 assessments in your students, then you have this 10, then you want that 10 assessments to be graded. Where in fact, you don't have the basic knowledge identifying kung alin lang yung graded and recorded, and alin lang yung graded but not recorded. I mean recorded but not graded, recorded but graded. Okay? Just like for example, ito kasi these are just the bearings of my discussion. Kailangan ito kasi ano lang to, bearing lang ito, parang springboard lang siya in order to hook the interest of my students. So po pwede natin yon. Either baka, ano ko lang to, formative assessments ko lang to during or before. I mean, yeah, before the discussion or during the discussion. So this is recorded but not graded. In terms of pedagogy, ICT enhanced, ayan, complex problem solving, self-management, and so on and so forth. Alright? Proceed tayo dito that reading ICT, integrated learning plans in mathematics, I don't know, in science education, I mean. Now, I guess I am about to end my slide class. And patapos na ako. This time, before we end our discussion, just a confirmation I just want to be confirmed. If you really have the copy, either hard copy or soft copy downloaded in your device, the Science Curriculum Guide, grade 7 to 10, and the most essential learning competency for grade 7 to 10. Meron na si Anthony Dunggon. Kasi if you don't have the copy, for sure, hindi kayo makakagawa ng activity. We have also Miss Divine, Miss Kimberly Katamora, meron na siya. Divine Grace, kukonti pa lang ang meron. Please naman class.